Good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrou, and today I am going to show you two methods that I use to make my granny squares. The one method is this that you see here, when you use different colors for every round, when I do not turn my granny squares after every round was made. And then the second one will be when you make a granny square in one color and when I turn after every round to make sure that my granny squares don't go wonky. So let's begin with this multicolored one. I'm using double knit yarns for this and a 4mm crochet hook. So to start your granny square, you can do two methods. You can make a magic circle. I am going to make 6 chain stitches for mine. I'm going to make a slip knot. And then I'm going to make 6 chain stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to join them in the round, form a circle with a slip stitch. My first row, I'm going to make 3 chains, and then I'm going to make 2 double crochet stitches, this will form my first cluster, 2 chain stitches, 3 double crochet stitches, that is my second cluster, 2 chain stitches, and then the third cluster, and then 2 chain stitches again, and 3 double crochets. The method I also like to use for to join the end of the round is what I call my invisible join. So what I basically do is I make like a duplicate stitch or a duplicate chain stitch. So instead of making 2 chains at the corner here, I make only 1 chain, because my invisible join will be the same space as a chain stitch. So what I like to do is I just make 1 chain, I cut the yarn, and then I pull this through the stitch, the last chain stitch that I made there, and then I thread this onto a yarn needle. Okay, so this is the front of the square. Now usually you would slip into the third chain stitch from the first stitch of the round. So I take my yarn needle, I put it through the stitch from the front to the back, like that. I pull this yarn through, so I've completed half of my duplicate stitch. Then I take my yarn needle and I put it from top to bottom through the last chain stitch that I made, and I just pull that closed. And there you can see I have made a duplicate stitch that looks like this chain stitch. Now if you turn this around, you will see that my duplicate stitch here is just two little loops. If I pull it a bit, you can see better. So what I'd like to do to finish this off is I pull on this yarn so that it's about the same size as the other stitches. I turn my block around and to the side like that, and then I like to take this yarn and take it to that side, so I'll put it through that little bump there to finish off my duplicate stitch at the back. Now you can see there's 3 little strands and not just the 2. And then I just work away this yarn as I normally would. I am using acrylic yarns, so I will just snip it off, the ends off as I go. If you are using natural fibers, I would recommend first blocking your project before snipping off all of the ends. And for the other one that I start, the end that I started with, I just weave it in this circle. Like that. And then I'll snip it off. This is my first round of my granny square completed. Okay, good. So now I'm going to do the second round of this square. So I take my second color, and then you can join in any corner that you like. I choose a different corner than the one I started with, just to spread extra thicknesses and so forth evenly. So what I would normally do is I take my yarn on the slip knot, put my hook through in the corner. I'll take this tail over to that side so that I can weave it in as I go. Yarn over, pull it up as if to make a single crochet, yarn over, pull it through, and I will count that as my first chain. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I work my double crochet clusters over this tail in this space. So we're going to make 2 more double crochets, and then I'm going to make 2 chains for my corner and 3 double crochets in the same corner space. Right, so that is my corners in this little corner. In between the corners, I will make 1 chain to make a space here for the next clusters. Then I'll make 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and another 3 double crochets in the next corner. Okay, so that is my second corner for my granny square. Then I'll make 1 chain and repeat this 3 double crochet, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets in the next corner. Okay, we've got one corner left, one chain, and repeat 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets in the next corner. And remember to not make your chain stitch to join. We are going to do the invisible join again. That's 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now remember, my invisible join method makes the space of one chain stitch. So for this, to end this round, I'm going to snip the yarn, take the hook and pull it completely through the stitch, thread it onto a needle. I'm again going to take my needle and put it from front to the back through the third chain of the first stitch of the round, pull it through, and I'm going to put it from the top to the bottom through that last stitch to duplicate the V, and then I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to put my hook, my needle through that little bump to complete the duplicate stitch, and then I'm just working away the end. As you can see here, both of our rounds were done with the front facing us. So this is the front of this round and the front of that round. So you can just continue in this manner to make your granny square as big as you want. I will do a video on how to join your granny squares with the join as you go method, and I will link it down below and at the end of this video. So let's move on to the second method to make a granny square. Okay, my second method to make a granny square, when using one color yarn to go for more than one round, I will always turn the granny square after every round to make sure that the granny square does not go wonky, because it tends to pull into itself and then your corners go all wonky. So to do this method is just the same. You can make a slip knot or a magic circle, whichever you prefer to do. So I will do exactly the same as I did for the previous one and make 6 chain stitches. Join to work in the round. Three chains for the first double crochet. You can as well here turn this around and work over this tail if you like. That's something else that I like to do sometimes. And make 2 double crochets. Okay. 2 chain stitches for your corner space. 3 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 2 chain stitches for your corner space, 3 double crochets, two chain stitches, 3 double crochets, and then 2 chain stitches and join with a slip knot. If you find that your chain stitches in this last corner is a bit big, you can always just make 1 chain stitch to suit your needs if you really want to. I will turn the work now, but when I turn my work, I keep my hook in the same spot and I turn my work anti-clockwise. That ensures that this loop on the hook does not twist. Okay, so because I have now turned the work, I need to work in this space. So I will do this and pretend that is my first chain stitch. Okay, let me do that again for you. So because I need to work in this space, I will put my hook through, yarn over, pull up this loop and make a little single crochet and count that as my first chain. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I make 2 double crochets for my corner. So that now counts as 3 double crochets, 2 chain stitches and 3 more double crochet stitches. So that is my first corner of my second round. 1 chain, 3 double crochet stitches in the next corner space, two chain stitches and 3 more double crochets in the corner space. Okay, so that's my second corner, and let's complete this block. Okay, so that is the second round of your granny square. Now make 1 chain and slip stitch to join in the third chain of your 3 chain for your first double crochet. I like to pull it a little tight so that I don't have a gaping hole there. Okay, and then I will do exactly the same. I will turn the work again anti-clockwise, keeping my hook in place, and then to work into this space, I'll put my hook through, yarn over, pull it up like a little single crochet, yarn over, and make 1 single crochet as chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. And I'm going to make 2 more rounds like this, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like and why this does not really matter because you don't see it. I'll be back. Alright, so I have made 2 more rounds on this granny square, and I will do exactly the same to join this square off. When you do your last double crochet, you do not make the chain one to go to this one. You just do the last double crochet, cut your yarn, pull it completely through, and I'm going to show this to you one more time. Thread it onto a needle. We are going to duplicate this look. So I'll take my needle, I'll put it from front to back in the same chain as I would slip to end the round. Pull it through, take your needle and put it from top to bottom through the stitch. Pull it a little bit, not too tight, just like that. Turn the block around, take the needle into the opposite cluster through that little bump there and pull it through, and then weave in the end. And snip it off. Now when you have decided to stop, I would count this as my front of my work because this row is facing me. So I will take this end, I'll just simply put my hook through there, and I'll just grab the end to the back, turn it around. Now remember, we already worked over this end, but I will just take it again and make sure that I put it through in the same direction as I worked over it, just once more to secure it a bit. All right, and then I'll snip that off. All right, so that is my method of making a granny square in a solid color by turning the work. Now if you look closely, the stitches where we started was here, is the 3 chains that we started with. So that will say that this is the first stitch where I made the little single crochet and the 2 chains. Now if you look at this cluster, for instance, you get the same little piece of yarn here that looks like a little single crochet as you get there, and that is why I make my single crochet stitch there, because to me it duplicates the look of a double crochet. It duplicates it to me more than just making 3 chains. But anyway, you can make the granny squares just like as you like. I just wanted to share my method of how I like to make my granny squares. So that is my solid granny square, and this is my colored granny square. Okay, so the next video that I will make a video to show how to join the granny squares, the join as you go method, and I will link it down below and at the back. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, happy crafting.